What is up, everybody? Welcome back to First Stop, where dreams do come true. We have a really awesome episode today with a very special guest.
Yes, we are pleased to welcome back to the podcast Sungho. Welcome back, Sungho.
Welcome. Thank you. What did you, baby?
There you go.
How was your summer?
It's been great. Very relaxing. It's been like a blast to say the least. So.
Awesome.
What'd you do?
You said you were in Boston, right?
Yeah, so I stayed around on campus. Actually worked at the Mac Dining Hall for the parents' orientation for lunch. And then outside of work was just basically me relaxing, playing basketball. And that was pretty much it.
That's awesome. You said, I saw in your story on Instagram over the summer that you were at the new Plex a lot. Was it pretty empty during the summer?
Yeah.
All to yourself?
We would have some days where we would play fives, but it wasn't that often.
Yeah.
It just depended on the schedule of when people were like working, because there's different blocks of the summer program, and so like during the dates where like people were able to go home, like it was totally empty.
Yeah.
But But I also got to play at the power gym. That's where the BC basketball team practices.
Oh yeah.
So that was really, really nice. They have like this Bluetooth system where like you get to play music, and it was super, super fun.
Ooh.
Like I had days where I would shoot around to like 1:30, just like living the
In
life.
the morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hype. Jeez.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And there's some guys on the team that like knew me, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's in the gym. Like this is ridiculous."
Right, yeah.
He's putting in work, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing kind of a new style this year, as we already told you. We'll definitely touch on sports, but what we realized is Erik and I's sports knowledge isn't as on par with you and some of the other guys. You know, the only thing I know about the Bears is, they throw passes and run the ball. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I know all of baseball is hitting a ball.
That's about it. Yeah.
But yeah, we want to tell you, you said you wanted to hear this funny story earlier this week with... Basically, we had some people at our apartment earlier this week. We didn't know they were going to come this week, basically to fix up the house, fix my doorknob that, couldn't open, which was an issue. Had to sleep in the hallway.
Yeah, you basically didn't have a door.
I didn't have a door.
Locked.
I had to put a door stopper underneath the door to keep it locked, but you could still force it open.
Someone really wanted in there.
Yeah, someone really wanted in there. But I guess this story starts on, what was it, Monday?
So I can do it. So it starts on Monday morning. I'm sitting there. I'm laying there. I'm asleep. It's 9 a.m. I don't have class until 11. And so I hear these people knock on the door. I thought it was people for downstairs because there's a unit below us. And these guys are like, hello, hello. And they have like this really thick Greek accent. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird. So I rolled over. I thought it was them, people downstairs had hired something. Or like Euros or something from Euro City at 9 a.m. And then I hear the door open, and I'm like, okay, that might be downstairs too. Well, then they start coming up, hello, hello, and they're knocking on the door, and they're coming up the stairs. So I run out there. I'm shirtless, and I have pants on, so I'm just like, I greet them uncaffeinated, like extremely sleepy. I'm like, hi, what are you guys doing? And there's just like three Greek guys coming up the stairs. They're like, we're here to fix. I'm like, fix what? List. I was like, what list? And they showed me this list that we gave our landlord to fix. And it was only like 3 items on it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that list. They're like, yeah, we're here to fix. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got that. And so I showed them around the house, basically, what to fix and stuff like that. Well, Angelo, one of our roommates, his class canceled, and so he had a nice long sleep in. Well, they start knocking on his door to repaint his ceiling and patch the cracks and stuff. And Angelo's like, well, that was worthless. So he went and slept in the kind of dining room we have, and it was like really, really, really weird. I
thought someone was breaking into because we had that whole off-campus meeting where people are like, oh, people will come and steal everything in your house. And
so
meanwhile,
okay.
I'm in my room, opening up the window, planning my escape. So
Erik will fend for me.
Oh, jeez. Well, it's just awkward because we're all changing, getting ready in the morning, and the guy's in my room taking off my doorknob, taking off my door. What's going on here?
That happens to me too, because we're off campus. The guys knock on the door, and then they have the keys to get into our apartment. So he barges in. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I probably know who this is. And then he starts banging on my door. I'm like, okay, why do you need me? You guys know what the hell to do. Come on.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, hey, I heard you guys want to work on this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, just go. And then I shut the door, and I try to go back to sleep, but then, it's hard and never ends up happening. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the fact they have our keys is just kind of
Well, yeah,
blows my
it's a
mind.
little sus, but
It's a
it's
little
okay.
bit sus. Yeah.
No, our property. I texted our property manager. I was like, were they supposed to come by? I said, yeah. I gave him the key. But what happened was he's not the actual owner. He's the property manager, and so he told the owner like, hey, let's get these fixed ASAP. And the owner's like, okay, but the owner never told him like when he hired it done, because Keith would have told us, when it would have been done. And so he's like, yeah, sorry about that. And the owner never told me. So he's just like, it could have been today. It could have been like 2 weeks from now. I'm like, okay, well, at least it got done though, right? That's the thing. It's like all that stuff was definitely you needed a door. You needed a door that locked. Angelo needed his door fixed, his ceiling fixed. We didn't have any our mini blinds were broken in our living room, and so it was kind of a pain.
Yeah. Just a weird way to start the week.
Yeah, and then it just became a really weird week after that.
Yeah.
Which was really strange. But,
Yeah. So where are you living this year?
I'm in Strathmore Road.
Okay.
That's right next to. If you get off the Commerce stop, it's called Chiswick Road. But to be more specific, we're right by the Yamato restaurant. So yeah, we live around that area. Yeah.
Have you gone to that restaurant a lot?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you like it? I've heard it's pretty good.
It's good. We eat a lot of food.
Okay.
Obviously, like my expectations for Asian food is just like ridiculous because I live in Korea now.
Right.
But like, considering the fact that like we eat a lot of food and we're getting our money's worth, like, yeah, I love going there. I go there during lunch too.
Okay.
It's way cheaper too because I think for lunch it's $18 for all you can eat,
Oh,
and then for
jeez.
dinner it's like $28. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But the
bad
thing
at
is
all.
like if you eat a lot,
Yeah, then it's worth
get
it.
your money's worth.
But if you only get like one plate, then it's kind of worthless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, we don't do that. Like
Yeah.
we would order like, so if there's like 4 of us, sometimes we order like 100 pieces of sushi. Just 4 of us.
Jeez.
Finish that, get a second order. Now they're very strategic with like, so what they do is like, you know how in football you ice the kicker?
Yeah.
They kind of ice us in a way that
Oh,
like
really?
they purposely take longer for the second order
Of
so that
course.
we digest and
Right.
slow down.
Right.
And then they also like double the proportions.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like
Don't
yeah,
go through as much.
very strategic. But we have to finish everything because like we get charged for leftovers.
Yeah.
So like sometimes we'll just wheel our way.
So I don't know if I want to go to this place. I don't like the
I mean-
charge for leftovers. Could you just take it home or no? You get charged for that too.
You get charged for it, but like you'll have an idea. That's why the thing is like in your first order you gotta go big.
Yeah.
Either go big or just
Go home.
Go home.
Yeah.
Get up or get out of the way. Right?
Yeah.
We went to a really good restaurant. What was it called again? It was.
Which restaurant, Jacob? We've
That's a
been to
very
many.
vague statement. We have eaten right before.
Yeah, we went to dinner once.
No, it was like this. Was it? It was like Was it Chinese? With
Bernard's?
the bowl. No, it was like
Hot Pot.
Hot Pot.
Yeah, we went to Hot Pot
Oh,
2
wow.
weeks
Have you
ago
been there?
in Alston.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I know where it is though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was good. I mean,
It
it
was-
was
it
hyped
was-
up. It was hyped up a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody, we were going with some people, and they're like, "Oh, it's the best thing you'll ever have in your life. Your life's gonna change dramatically after you have this meal."
Besides, my stomach was like on fire because of how spicy it was. So that's as dramatic as the change it was.
There's a new Korean restaurant in Alston. You guys should definitely check it out. It's called Kim's Tofu. They just opened up 2 months ago, and yeah, it's great
Is it?
actually. There's a lot of people who come though.
Kim's Tofu. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll definitely write that down. I'm not like looking for like good places to go for dinner.
It's like the one like good Korean restaurant in like the state of Massachusetts. No
Wow.
offense. Just because I
Hot
just
take.
don't think like Korean food does enough justice here.
Okay.
And like Chinese food here is okay, but it's coming from a guy who has like ridiculous expectations, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Do you like spicy food?
I do. I think I have a relatively like decent like tolerance level of spiciness.
Spice?
Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
for sure.
Do you like spicy food, Jacob?
I feel like spicy is such like a. It could be either. It's so relative to each person, I guess. But I thought what we had at Hot Pot, it was. If it was a little bit more spicy than that, then I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm. But when I get wings though, I get barbecue. Like I don't
Okay.
get like.
You don't get like the hot
Hot
stuff,
wings, yeah.
Yeah, no, that stuff at Hot Pot was really hot. I mean, I sat next to Austin, And he and I were like, holy crap, this is like really hot. I started crying at one point because like one of the things was like super hot. It was like they put sriracha with like the ghost pepper all in one, and we're like, okay, this is our mild. I'm like, no, that's not. I started crying.
It's our mild.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Have you guys been to Banchan Chicken? That's definitely a place you guys should visit.
Banchan? No.
Yeah.
No.
It's
I'm gonna write these down.
super good.
What was that one place you said that we should go to where they like hibachi, where they cook in front of you?
Oh, Osaka.
Osaka.
Oh,
Okay, I've been there
with
once.
Sam and Justin.
Okay.
That's really good.
It's amazing. And I also went there this past weekend for my friend's 21st birthday. I have two of my friends who are both my roommates that just turned 21. So
Nice.
we went there.
That's cool.
It was great. It's kind of expensive, but it's worth it.
It's a good experience.
Let me start writing these down. So we got Kim's Tofu. Osaka.
Yeah. That's in Coolidge Corner.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then,
That's a nice area.
It's close, right by Chipotle. Or
Banchan's in Austin.
Banchan?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Bonchon.
Banchan.
And I hope you know how to spell chicken.
Banchan chicken. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when did you take like liquor and all those freshman writing classes, like sophomore, junior year,
Yeah.
or sophomore year? I
Oh,
should
so
say.
you're saying I can't spell?
Well,
Oh,
you know, I'm just saying. I'm
wow,
just
okay.
saying. Hey.
Hey, no one told me I had to take those classes as a freshman, even though it's a freshman writing
That's
seminar.
ridiculous that your advisor is like.
Oh yeah, she was like,
that's
oh
ridiculous.
yeah, you're just gonna have to feel your way through. I'm like, well, that's the answer. I was like, what should I take? She's like, we'll take history, this. I'm like, oh okay. Then sophomore year comes, it's like, oh, what do you mean I have to take freshman writing seminar?
Oh
And so I'm the
jeez.
only sophomore in that class. It felt like in 21 Jump Street where they're sitting in the class with their like knees way too high, like the largest people in the class. So I'm sitting there, everyone's going around like, yeah, I'm a freshman, I'm living on Newton. I'm like, I'm a sophomore, I'm in Walsh. It was like sophomore spring too. And then lit core, I had one kid who sat next to me, he was a senior. In the mod. He's like, yeah, I've been taking lit core for the last 4 years. So I don't know if he like failed all the other ones and then so just like dropped out because he failed all the tests. And then he has like, I had to do this one because I think that was like his story. But I was like, okay, dude, like you gotta get your stuff together.
Yikes. I did all of those like my freshman year. I was like, I wanted to get rid of like literature and writing seminar out the way. My writing seminar class wasn't that bad because it was a lot like about like reflecting on your personal life and like I love doing that. So there's a lot to write about and like reflection papers are for me like are really easy. And
Yeah.
I could write like a 5-page reflection paper in like an hour probably.
Wow.
Because it's just like there's so much in my mind. I just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I would have to revise because like sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes
Periods are optional.
Just words.
Yeah, just words straight up. It's one long
That-
sentence that's 5 pages long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
postmodern poem or something.
Postmodern poem.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
What's your favorite class you've taken so far?
Oh boy. Oh, that's such a hard question. Okay, I'll put it in 2 categories. The most fun I've had in a class.
There you go.
Was Intro to Music Theory. Just because like, well, it was really easy for me. But also like, I kind of broke the ice and I started like having fun. My professors start cracking jokes, roasting like a classmate, like all the time.
You suck.
Yeah.
You suck.
And then my favorite class I've ever taken. Oh, I'd say there's this class I took called Sports in American Society, and it was like a sociology 3000 level class.
Oh, jeez.
It was super interesting because it's about how like sports plays a very pivotal role in society. So we talk a lot about like very important issues that are still prevalent in like today's society for sure.
What was it for a core or was it like an elective?
It was an elective.
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, like it was before like I, thought about taking sociology classes. I was like, oh, let's take this class as kind of a blow-off class. And then once I got in, like, I was like, oh, this has a lot more, like, what do you call it?
Prevalence in your life, kind of.
Yeah.
Right. Importance. Yeah.
And then it's, like, kind of challenging, too, to some extent. And there was a lot of student athletes who were in the class. So I was thinking, like, it was going to be an easy A. But, like, that wasn't the case. Like, don't get me wrong, I still did really well. But, like, I still had to, like, put in some work.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you a sociology major then? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
With anything else or just sociology?
I'm actually thinking about picking up a computer science minor. But, like, we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, 'cause that's very useful. But
I've heard that's a good time to do it at BC. As
Yeah.
computer science, because now they're like building it up for the Schiller Center and kind of really fleshing out a lot of like important stuff.
it's super useful, honestly. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. What's your favorite class you've ever taken? In those 2 categories, fun and challenging / like you learn the most.
Fun / challenging, probably perspectives freshman year.
Okay.
Because my I feel like with professors for that class, you either get ones that are really, really hard or really, really easy. And this guy was right down the middle. He was relatively young too. Like he went to BC only like a few years ago. And yeah, it was just because at my high school, I had no background to philosophy or theology or any of that stuff. And he did a really good job at explaining it. And he actually connected it to, he connected a lot of the themes we learned in that class to like the Dark Knight trilogy. And I'm like a big Batman like fan. So like that was just cool. And it was just a really awesome class. And also it was the first class of freshman year. So maybe that's why it was just so memorable, because it was like everybody was in it together, I guess.
Yeah.
Most fun in the class, probably globalization with you, probably. That was the first class where I know sometimes I was like, what? Fun in globalization? Just because it was like a goon squad. It was me, you, Wajdi, Kevin, Minnow.
Like the whole first stop team from
basically.
From sophomore year was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But it was not that was probably my most fun class, but also the class I hated the most.
Yeah, sure, you did not like that.
I just don't understand history.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're like, I'm not a history major.
I can't conceptualize the past.
Yeah,
I only live for the future.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Oh man, it's deep.
It's deep. Yeah. Are you a big history guy, Sungho?
No.
Shaking your head?
Definitely not.
Wow.
That's why
It's a shame.
I already took history 2, and then my advisors give me a heads up, like, hey, you never took history 1. I was just like, oh, whoops, we should get on that. So he's like, yeah.
We should get on that.
Yeah.
What'd you take then?
Oh, so like history 2, I did a globalization 2 with the same professor.
Okay.
Never showed up to class. Still did pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But
Don't recommend it.
Oh, okay.
Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
That's a hit or miss.
But like I go to class way more often than like I did before.
Oh, that's good.
So, but like, am I learning more out of like by going to class and not going to class? Not so much. It's just me. But I still go because I'm a professional, so to speak.
Okay.
I'm guessing, but and I want to be somewhat responsible. But yeah, I just can't wait to get over it. And also, they switched up the off-campus experiences too, but a little bit by like you have to do readings and then you have to go to what's called an OCE discussion.
Oh yeah. Oh, discussion. We didn't have
And I'm like,
discussions.
my gosh, like why couldn't we just stick to the easy, go off campus, take a selfie of an ugly face and whatnot,
Right.
and then like submit something. Like I wish we could do that, but like they switched it up. And one of my friends told me a story that like they were going to, I'm assuming there was this optional like lecture they went to, and the professor was there, and someone had advised her like, hey, this should be a requirement. And so she's like, oh, that's a great idea.
Oh,
and I'm like, all right, way to screw all of us over. And I was like, when did this happen?
What a narc.
Yeah.
Like, who suggests that? Like, honestly, who suggests that?
And then I was like, when did they switch this? They're like, oh, like, it was like 2 semesters ago. I was like, oh boy, because I thought about doing history 1 for sophomore year. And I just kind of blew it off. And then I was just, I was like, if I had taken it then, like, but in like return, our midterms are only worth 15% of our grade, and our finals only worth either 15 or 20% of our grade, which
65-80%.
Discussions or participation 65%. Big lecture hall.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
Yeah. My friend tells me about that. He's like, oh, like you have to do discussion, and like there's 100 people in the lecture. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm like,
I don't know how they did that with ours. Like, technically participation was counted, but like, how do you account for people's? You have to like look through pictures and then check off their names.
When we could see a switch in our professor, because at the beginning of the year it was like kind of you and the history majors who were really participating, because you know you just had an interest in the subject. But what he started doing was after someone participated, he would ask for their name, and then one of the TAs would probably write it down. So then more people started raising.
All the hands went up, like no joke. Like it was like
real.
one kid. So like, say I raised my hand,
Sure.
and he was, okay, your name's Erik, right? I was like, yeah. Literally after me, 50 hands went up because people.
Which is
actually
really
gotta get my
smart.
name. Oh, it's so smart. Because
Yeah.
it shows that they're actually paying attention and care about that. We also had like those quizzes. I didn't like those.
Pop quizzes.
We had pop quizzes.
is it on Canvas?
No. He was like, here's a half sheet of paper. Write down your name and the person next to you, and write something down. If you can't find an answer, make it funny. So we always made it funny because we couldn't find the answer.
Yeah. We always like plugged first stop or like follow first stop.
Yeah. Follow for stop on the Instagram.
Are your readings long for globalization?
Yeah. So I like kind of skim read it, but we have a midterm coming up next Friday, and that's not gonna be fun. But
we used to study like 12 hours for midterms.
Oh god. Well, because we sat in a classroom for one day and just learned all of it. So then when we reviewed it throughout the week, it was just.
And we did really well. I mean, honestly, like think about how like consistent we were on those tests. I think studying that much and like learning it was a grind, but I think we did pretty well. I think that's definitely a recommendation. I don't know who your teacher is. Is it Gallagher
or Warner?
Warner. Okay, I think that's what Max had. So Max Dougherty, had that. Yeah, I heard her tests are pretty easy though.
Yeah.
I think it's all multiple choice, right?
It's all multiple choice, and then I think the short answer is just explaining why you chose one of the answers.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's like our bio class, all multiple choice, big lecture hall. And we were nervous joining that class because we've had some people say it's an easy science score versus a hard science score. But we had our first midterm this past weekend, went pretty well. There was a mouse.
Yeah, you don't like mice. You're afraid of mice.
Afraid of mice and rats and rodents. I'll take spiders. I'm not afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
We opened our spiders are a big problem at our house.
Ah.
When I got out of the shower, I like opened the door and I saw behind the door was like a big just spider. It was skinny, but like daddy long leg. I just swipe it off. I'm like, I don't care.
I was at my friend's room at Walsh, and I swear I was just like spacing out, and then I saw a mouse just like walk through underneath the fridge, and I was like, guys, like I just saw a mouse, and they're like, you're kidding. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. So we spent literally all night trying to catch this, and it was so hard because like
Jacob in there.
He was super fast, and also he was behind the fridge, so we were kicking the fridge so that he would come out. He eventually came out. We had like bowls ready to like cup him and trap him.
And what do you do with that after that?
And
you have to like push it down, yeah.
But like he was so fast, and also like he got in the carpet and he like blended in so well. So then like once he was in the carpet, we lost him, and then he was underneath the couch, and we had to flip the couch because he was camping in like side of it, and like we flipped the couch because they live right next to one of the stairways, so we brought the couch out of the room, put it in the stairway. And then...
Is that what the mouse looks like?
Yeah.
I put up a picture of Tom and Jerry and I showed him.
And then we finally caught him, but it took us like 45 minutes. And I had a friend who had a 9 a.m. He's like, I'm not sleeping till we catch this thing.
I just want to see how like afraid you are of mice. Just want to see like I just flashed a picture of a mouse.
I get it from my mom. My mom is so afraid of
mice.
I think she got it because she had an apartment in college when she was at Northeastern, and she moved in, and there were like 50 of them.
Ooh.
What?
Which is disgusting.
That's nuts.
So she had to move out, her and her friends, like immediately. And
what about these types of mice?
I like computer mice. Yeah, computer mouse, computer mice, computer mouse. Do you remember freshman year there was a mouse on our floor?
Remember John and all them there was a mouse on the floor, and it was in Dan Boda's room or whatever, that one kid.
Yeah, so I remember we were going to dinner one night, me, you, and Austin, and we always wait in the hallway. And I was walking out of my room to meet up with them, and Austin's like, I think a mouse just scurried out of your room, and I flip out. I like close my door, and he said, no, I think it went under Dan's room, right?
Yeah.
So then I kid you not, for a good 3 weeks after that, we put towels under our door.
Really?
I'm like playing like the floor's lava, jumping around like everywhere. I'm just, oh my God.
That's like psychologically so taxing. There's no way that's good.
Because you start to feel like you're seeing something when you're not.
Right.
And
maybe you should have gone to the health center after that. To therapy. I'm seeing stuff in my sleep.
Maybe it's the psychedelics you're taking.
Yeah.
It's like,
maybe
what?
I'll lay off the LSD.
I saw it once scurrying down the hall, but I wasn't afraid. But then just scurried under like a mirror's door or something like that.
Okay, so you just didn't care.
And it wasn't a white mouse. It was like a brown one, like a brown.
Do you like white mice better than brown mice?
I don't know.
You just made that distinction, so I wondered if.
How on earth, like a white mouse?
Yeah, like a white mouse.
Oh wow.
No, I think it was a brown mouse, not a white one. I feel whites are more just... I remember in Mac, we were having late night and we saw one, and I would just put my feet up on another chair because I just can't deal with it.
Like white mice, see?
Oh.
Like those little
It's
things.
nasty.
I had no clue we had those in the BC campus, but...
Yeah, well, Mac kind of does, and that's kind of the problem, is like they have like mice. They don't have rats, but they have mice running around. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. Patty was telling us he has like an ant problem, which I can see. It's
Take ants any day.
Yeah. Ants.
Take insects any day.
I think the mods have a skunk problem.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's.
And I can see that, like scavengers, going through looking at trash.
Raccoons, yeah.
I think Newton does something where we don't have any raccoons, because that one day we put chicken out, like the frozen chicken, we put that in the trash. No raccoon or anything overturned our trash for it. So, because they definitely would have if they smelled it. So I don't know what Newton does, but we have like no raccoons in Newton, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right,
just
good
not
talk.
good talk. Jesus. Dang. We're gonna take a quick music break, and when we come back, we're gonna dive into the sports world and what's on Sungho's mind. Stay tuned.
Hey, what's up, everyone? We just listened to 2 songs. I kind of liked them. One was "I Love You" Part 1 by Panther, TikTok song, and also "Stacy" by Shagrock. That kind of went to the random radio on Spotify. I actually kind of like that. You'll definitely be hearing that soon. Jacob, let's do a Q&A session of Sungho. Start it off.
That's right. We got as we said earlier, we have a very special guest on today's show. Everybody wants to listen to his hot takes. The first question we have from the Instagram story is, who do you think the MVP will be this year for the NBA?
Oof, it's such a tough question because the NBA is super a lot more balanced now. I'm gonna go with. There are some people who are saying LeBron's gonna win MVP, but I'm not sure if he's gonna log in enough games because he wants to load manage and be prepared for the playoffs, obviously. And he's getting old, he's year 17. I don't think winning another MVP is in his mind. If anything, it's more of a championship. I think maybe James Harden. He has a chance to, because he's the one guy that actually goes 100% in the regular season.
Yeah. And
he puts up ridiculous stats. Now, granted, last year he could have won another one. He put up ridiculous numbers, but to be fair, Giannis' team was way better. I don't know how Giannis is going to do this year. I think he'll be great, but I don't know if he's going to be MVP again. It's really hard to repeat.
Yeah.
You have to have an unbelievable season like Steph had. I'd say Steph Curry could also be in the conversation, but that totally depends on where the Warriors are, because they're the biggest wild card. I have no clue if they're going to be in the 5-4 seed or if they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, because that Western Conference is definitely loaded. So, yeah.
Nice. My pick, I'm going to pick Zion. And that's an extremely hot take.
Yeah, it's nuclear.
I see him taking over this league. I see him dropping first game, LeBron-like
75.
game. 75? Maybe. 75, 0 assists.
75 all dunks.
I see this dynamic. I don't know. I actually want to hear your. What do you think? How do you think Zion's going to be first year? Do you think he's going to be like LeBron, or do you think it's going to be like every other hyped up college player where it takes him good, 5 years to actually make an impact?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I think he's going to have a good rookie season. I do expect him to win Rookie of the Year, unless another one of those guys just comes out of nowhere. But I think he's going to have some struggles early in the season, though. I get it, he's 280, and he can maybe bully 60% of the players in the NBA.
Yeah.
But there's going to be he's going to have to deal with some of the walls that you deal with as a rookie, and adjusting, because he's so used to going to the basket and just dunking on everyone, but he needs to know how to kind of learn other ways to score.
Yeah, that's so true.
He needs to develop his jump shot. I think he's a good facilitator, but he's definitely going to have to really, really work on that, because obviously the pace is a lot faster. But he's in a great situation in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Especially with Alvin Gentry. You have Lonzo, Drew Holiday, and all these young guys. When they're on the fast break, actually look out. They're going to be running that break often, for sure.
What do you think about Zion?
Zion, I think I see him doing well. I'm interested to see the dynamic he'll have with the other players. It seemed like Lonzo's a pretty good passer. Who's the other guy who'll be on? RJ's not with him. He's in New York.
Yeah.
So I think they'll give him the ball a lot, which is good. I think the biggest thing is seeing how much you can actually get into the paint and stuff, because he's going against top guys, big centers, power forwards and stuff. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the next LeBron, though. I don't know.
Another guy on the Pelicans, people should think about is Jackson Hayes. He looks very promising.
Oh yeah, I saw some highlights from the summer league.
Yeah, super athletic.
Oh, God.
I'm telling you, that team, they're gonna be one of the fastest paced teams in the league. So they're gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah,
for sure.
Who do you think could stop them?
What was that?
Who do you think could stop them?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of teams that would be able to stop their fast breaks, obviously, because they're a young team and they'll probably make a lot of rookie mistakes. But in the coming years, I just can't wait. I don't know. It's just like all I can't think
Suns. We don't talk about them.
Yeah, man, playing against the Suns, you drop like 130 points a night. Ridiculous. Especially when your best player plays absolute no defense, even during open gym runs, during summer workouts, which is ridiculous. But that's another topic.
Just it's impacted you.
I'm trying to think of like the top defensive teams in the NBA that were like this past season. Obviously, like the Warriors are dropped off like significantly.
Jazz.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good. But like the thing is, like it's gonna be hard to stop the Pelicans' fast breaks because I don't know if there's a team that can stop those young guys on the fast break. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's gonna take a lot of experience for them. I don't think they're going to the playoffs. There's a lot of hype about them, but I think they'll probably either be hanging around like the 10th or 11th seed in the West, which is not that bad to be honest. Because mind you, last year like 1 through 11 were all like contending for playoff spots. Yeah. So that's probably going to be the same scenario this year once again. So, yeah.
What are your takes in the NBA, Eric?
I have no idea.
No idea? Should we move on to another question?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do that. I have not followed sports since last year's podcast.
Yeah, I just say the most obvious ones. All right. First question we have: how did you get to be such a big baller?
Oh my gosh. It's just a lot of hard work, practicing, also learning, and going up against people who are a lot better than you. It's the most important thing.
How do you think your game has evolved from freshman year till now?
There's small things for sure. Obviously, like just learning how to move without the ball. I'm still need to work on that, but like setting screens for people, setting down screens. It's sometimes what I'll do is if there's a guy dribbling up the court, like I'll set a screen and they'll switch and then I get a shot on the top of the key. It's a lot of different variations. Obviously, freshman year, I only played half-court games, and to be honest, playing half-court pickup games are way easier than playing fives. So, like, in a sense, that like I move a lot more now, and I've also been working on like finding the right people, like it's, as far as like passing the ball, and it's just mostly about like also kind of extended my 3-point range a little bit since they've backed up the 3-point line again. That took some time to like get used to actually. Now I'm like in a groove and I know like if a shot's going in or not. But it's just more like moving without the ball, using the jab step. Especially the jab step's really like useful. Like one of the things my friend tells me is if you set a jab step and your defender shifts his feet like a little bit, you've already won. You already have an open look and you can take the shot. So those are some of the small things. I'm still working. Definitely want to work on like step backs, creating separation for my shot. And definitely still got to get better on defense.
I was about to ask, so you're definitely a more offensive focused player.
For sure.
Do you think defense is not a weak spot, but certainly a point of focus you can make?
Yeah, it's just like when we're playing pickup, I just get lazy sometimes. And like there are some people there's a ton of people who don't play defense in pickup. But like in intramurals, like I'll actually try.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something I need to work on for sure. Because there are a lot of people that pick on me on defense for sure. Like, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next question?
Yeah, sure. So how do you read this?
Just top one.
The top one?
Yeah.
So we have Vineeth asked, he was going to be a roommate of ours until some issues arose. Awesome kid. He says, do you believe in Jesus?
Yes, I do. I'm actually religious, and I don't go to church too often, but I do pray every day. And I like believe in the fact that like, God has a plan for me, and like even during the tough times, I always just pray, make sure like I can get through it, and most of the times I do get through even some of the toughest times. So yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, that's a good question. It's just kind of off after going from like offensive versus defensive looks on basketball too. Do you believe in Jesus? Does a theological question. My dad texted me. He said he definitely believes that it'll be Giannis who will get MVP. Definitely, he thinks he could definitely have a year like he did last year and kind of build off of where they kind of came from last year. So I mean, obviously I don't follow ball sports at all, but like I could see that if he's the most favored to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have a friend who asked me, like, what are the expectations for the Brooklyn Nets this season, since they made a huge off-season splash, for sure, by adding KD and Kyrie. I think this year, probably be hovering around a 5 or 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. I I think Kyrie fits in the offensive system way better than the Brad Stevens system, because like the Celtics like to move the ball around, but Kyrie's so ball dominant, and he's isolation scorer, and it kind of like disrupts the offense a little bit for the Celtics players. So, but he fits in way better than in the Kenny Atkinson system. So I'm still questioning about his leadership qualities. I don't think he's the best leader. I don't think he's a good leader at all, to be honest with you, after what happened last season.
Yeah, true.
But it's people kind of harp on him for what happened last season, but I don't think it's just him that caused all the friction. I think it was a collective of everyone on the team. Obviously, Tatum wasn't happy about playing time. Tatum and Brown, they weren't happy that Hayward gets getting more playing times. And also, Brad Stevens couldn't come up with a set starting 5 lineup. He would switch up lineups every 10 or 15 games, and it was way too much. You have to have a set lineup. You have to have a clear leader who actually leads the team well. Those are 2 of the most important things, and that makes a team good. It's all about chemistry. And while they had the talent to go far, they didn't have the chemistry, which is why they got demolished against the Bucks in the second round. So
yeah, they really did fall apart. It was just kind of atrocious.
Yeah, it's just from the beginning of the season, things didn't seem right, and they never really got back on track. There were some games where they looked like they were the team back in 2018 that made it to the conference finals, but then there were other times where, man, the team just looked atrocious. But based on their offseason moves, I think they'll have way better chemistry players, because I think Kemba probably won't cause any locker room issues that Kyrie made. Because Kyrie's kind of a diva, say the least. But
a little bit.
Yeah, I think the Nets probably 5 or 6 seed this season for sure.
Okay, I mean that's pretty good from where they came from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Lakers?
Ooh, I think they'll be 3rd or 4th seed in the West.
Okay.
I just feel like they're gonna load manage LeBron, especially the injury that he dealt with.
Yeah.
This past season, and they want to make sure he plays. He's ready for the playoffs, and he has his deep playoff run. Also, it's his 17th year, so
yeah.
I still think the Clippers are way better.
Okay.
But I see them as a 3rd or 4th seed, assuming everything goes well and
wow,
there's no
okay.
chemistry issues.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Kawhi leaving the Raptors?
Oof. It was a very bold move, but I think he had the right to make the move because he won the title for the Raptors.
True.
And I think people overlook this, but he, disrupted 2 teams that could have three-peated. The Miami Heat in 2014, and he also disrupted the Warriors. Granted, the entire team fell apart towards the finals with injuries, but I feel like he was obligated to do whatever he wanted to, especially after he won the title for Toronto. And to be honest, looking back at the DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi trade, the Raptors won that trade, and the case is closed because they've already won a title. So
yeah. And
if you think about some of these teams like OKC, who contended for 9 or 10 years, if you're a Thunder fan, you're probably losing your mind right now because you had so many chances to win a title and you had a very loaded roster. Meanwhile, you have a team like the Raptors. They got 1 star player, and then in 1 year they won a championship.
Right.
Now, granted, there was a lot of hard work they went through. That Sixers series was a huge grind for them, and even that Warriors series was a huge grind for them, despite KD and Klay just tearing out their Achilles and an ACL in 2 games, which is ridiculous. But it was a grind. But that just it was a bold move by Masai Ujiri. But for Kawhi, he was obligated to do anything he wanted, and so. It's weird because he's the first Finals MVP to go to a different team the year after. So, but he's done everything he did for Toronto, and Toronto should always remember him as the guy who got them a championship. So
Drake curse is broken.
Remember
every time Drake cheered for a team.
Mm-hmm.
Out. Yeah. But
yeah. Any more questions from your feed?
Oof. We can scroll through.
We got a follow request on Instagram.
Let's see.
First stop or personal?
No, personal.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I have 2 questions. My friend Stephen Palmisi, he asked, "Why can't you score on me?" Very direct.
Oh god.
Oof. Do I have an answer for that? I'll say he's a good defender, and he makes it tough on me. But the fact he says like, "Why can't you score on me?" That's not true. There's plenty of times where I've scored on him. But that's a.
I hear some beef like coming up.
We can we'll figure that out on the basketball court.
Calling him out.
I know. I kind of want to see a one-on-one then now.
Might as well.
And then
Sponsored by First Stop.
Sponsored by First Stop. First
Just
Stop
like
101s.
Just like 2K blacktop.
First Stop boxing. We should create a fight club. I mean, that'd be kind of sick. Boxing clubs are only $20, and they have boxing bags up in
Yeah, exactly.
the new Plex. Honestly, though, I mean, sometimes people get on your nerves.
It's like in the ring today.
I just said someone in the house directly, so he's probably talking.
And he's staring into my soul when he said it too.
That's not a Jacob. Not a Jacob.
Matthew Miller asks, most difficult moment of your basketball journey, and how do you get through it?
God, Matthew, what the
Matthew, for listening live.
I think you can just single-handedly just carry
I just
this
love the
entire,
dedication.
Q&A session. Most difficult moment. I don't think there's a pinpoint of a difficult moment, but it's more about like just getting through the days where like you don't score the ball or someone shuts you down. Those are the most difficult days because like it's like you put in all the work or there are times where I'll get wide open looks and I just don't or I'll start missing like 10 or 12 threes in a row. Like
Jeez.
Yeah, like a whole game.
We'll play pickup and yesterday and I start off really hot. I think I made like 4 of my 5 3-point shots. Then I missed my next 12. It was ridiculous. Jeez. It was brutal. And like
hit or miss.
Like the thing is like I've gained my confidence because like I don't know why, but like I was having trouble like being confident shooting the ball like for a couple months, but like I got kind of got my mojo back. But the thing is like even yesterday like I was confident to shoot. They just weren't falling. Everything would just hit the rim. But to be fair, like I was tired. I was definitely tired to say the least. But yeah, I wasn't too mad though because they were good looks and they weren't bad misses whatsoever. And I was like, all right, I can live by them because I'm not taking horrible shots. Might have taken like 2 or 3 shots that were ill-advised, but like for the most part, like I was getting to my spots. That's what I care about is getting to my spots and making sure my teammates know like where to find me.
Yeah.
Whether or not I make or miss because. It only takes one shot for, shooters to like, get back in a rhythm. So, I missed 12 in a row, and then I hit the last 2 that were, like, very, very critical. So, I guess that's all that matters. And we won, like, all of our pickup games but 1. So,
that's good. How many you played, too?
We played 5.
So you're the guy who can be hot and cold throughout the game, but you're going to hit the icing on the cake at the end of the game?
Yeah. I actually, the thing is that's interesting is when the game's tied at 13, or if we have 13 points, because it's 1s and 2s, I like smile internally because I know like I'm gonna get a good look and like I'm gonna ice the game and like it happens often.
That's actually pretty sick. That's like always the best feeling.
Yeah, I had my friend Rob. Anytime I play against him, I always hit the game-winning 2 against his team, and he gets super frustrated. Because he always yells out, when it's 13, he yells out, no 2s. I don't care, step up and give up a layup or do anything. And then I always get a wide open look. And then, like, what he does is, like, when he gets mad, he'll do a frustration dunk. He'll do off the vert, dump the ball.
That's pretty sick, though.
Just 360 dunk, just casually.
360
For me, I just like shoot a half-court shot, and then that'll be it. I don't care.
These are all just pretty sick, actually. I can't even dribble
just
flexing.
Sometimes they go away, and my friend's like, "Oh, good shot." I'm like, still really ticked off about the loss, but
right.
Yeah. And the day you can have wins and losses, but it's how you get through it, right?
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Quick music break, then we'll talk about Sungho style because I actually love your shoes, dude.
Oh,
Those are
thank
really
you.
sick. We'll take a quick music break and we'll be right back after not Wham Bam Shangalang, but definitely Lakeshore Drive because I'm feeling that right now. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to First Stop. We are going to continue this Q&A session. A really awesome question just came in from a player on the basketball team. So, Sungho?
Yeah, so Julian Rushwain, who was a freshman on the BC basketball team, he asked, why does your jumper look so funky?
Oh. I feel
a lot
like a
of people-
call-out just came.
Yeah. Boy. boy, they just keep flooding in.
Jeez,
Jeez, there's like 700.
All negative.
Yeah.
How do you respond?
Oof.
It's
I
like
don't know. I started playing basketball when I was 15.
Okay.
And like, when you're a kid, like you're always taught to shoot with 2 hands. So I kind of just went with that, and then like, I don't know. I was just like, people are like, you can't shoot the ball shooting that way, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna prove you guys wrong.
Yeah.
And like, just like, I keep practicing and I get better. I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this. The only thing that sucks is like I have to release the ball super quick because I'm shooting it like from a very low angle.
Okay.
So if my release is slow, someone's gonna block the shot like very easily, which is why like when I shoot the ball, I release it like at a very like quick pace.
Okay.
Yeah. But
it works. That's the thing.
I'll tell you. I think that's why people get so frustrated with your game. It's because it looks so funky. It shouldn't be.
Back up a little bit.
Back up?
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry for people listening at
Your
home.
mic's like in your mouth. It's like you're at the orthodontist.
Well, I did want to be a dentist at one point. How's the mic looking? How's the levels looking?
Oh, everything's fine. Yours was just maxed out.
Oh gosh, sorry about that. Back to my statement here. I think that's why your game is so unique and people get frustrated because it shouldn't go in. You know, it's like you're using 2 hands plus your feet. What's going on here?
10 toes.
10 toes. But you know, you do what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Just like it's just a ton of reps and just hard work and just like just shooting a ton of shots and like shout out to Julian because he's like an amazing shooter. I saw him shooting around yesterday and he was shooting like 5 steps behind like the furthest line.
Oh yeah.
He's just not.
Yeah, that's a weird. There's like 5 lines now on the new basketball court.
So the one that's closest is a high school, and the second one is the what do you call it? That's the old college line because they moved back the college line to the international line.
Oh.
So
okay.
yeah, but he does not miss. I've seen him shoot around at the power gym, and he's one of the best shooters like I've ever seen like up and close. And hopefully he gets some playing time this year. So
yeah.
For cool. The intramural, what's the line for a 3? Just so if we want to put in work and get the practice.
I've been told it's the second line.
Okay.
From one of the guys who like runs the club team. Yeah, I think he said it's the second line, so we won't have to worry. But
okay, that'll be good. Yeah, we'll definitely get a team going. That'd be pretty sweet.
I don't think it matters.
Coach.
Yeah, I don't think it matters for me because like if I shoot further away, that helps space out the floor more. So if you can shoot like further out there, that's great. But if you can't, it's not the end of the world. But,
yeah.
Are you on the hunt for a mug? Is that you need to get a mug? You need to get a ring?
Yeah, but also more importantly, I just want to have fun and I also want to win because like the last 2 experiences haven't been too great. Like the last experience, like we won, we made it to like we finished 3rd, but like didn't really have a fun experience. So hopefully like I actually like have fun like this time around. So
yeah, no, that's true. I think that's what it's all about. Yeah, mug's nice, t-shirt's nice, but no, it's about winning and having fun, right?
That's right.
I agree. We should talk about your style. I love your shoes right now.
Oh, thank you.
Describe them.
So I have a ton of shoes, and the shoes I'm wearing right now are the Jordan 12s. They call it the international colorway because like it's celebrating like because I think it's just celebrating and like in the back it has like something in Chinese and it's
nice.
I'm assuming like I was told it means like for the love of the game, just appreciating international sports. But yeah, I have a ton of shoes, but these are one of my favorites.
Yeah, they're pretty clean.
Yeah.
What do you wear on the court?
Oof, on the court. Okay, so I don't like playing in this shoe, but I have these pink KD 11s.
Okay.
And I don't like playing in them because the support's really, really bad.
Okay.
And like, but a guy like me, because I don't really do like crossovers or that much. All I do is like spot up and shoot. Like the shoe's like okay, and I can manage with it. I just wear them because they're so sick, and like I like to wear something flashy every once in a while.
Okay, yeah.
Also, Sam, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the self-lacing shoes?
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Sam gave me like a pair of those, like because he just didn't want them, which was nuts.
That's
so I've been playing
cool.
in them. They feel nice. I'd say for the first self-lacing shoe, it's a great start. But to like, when people ask the question, are self-lacing shoes worth it? Like that's not the shoe to like give a definitive answer. There's a lot of work they need to work on. But, you know, as a first shoe, like, you know, there's going to be a lot of flaws, but I'm sure Nike's going to work on that in like 2 or 3 years.
That's pretty sweet.
That's their second self-lacing shoes they've released. The first one was released in 2016.
For Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
Retail was like $720, which is nuts. And this second shoe was $350.
Jesus,
So
that's
hopefully
so much.
in 3 or 4 years they'll, cut that in half to like the 180, 170 ballpark. Then
Even that is so much.
that's
Oh,
still expensive, but
Holy
like
cow.
170 is passable because even some of the LeBrons are 180, 200.
Yeah.
But like when people ask me the question like, is it worth buying those shoes that expensive? No. Like there are $100 to $120 shoes, basketball shoes, and granted this is retail. So imagine if they hit sales, they'll probably hit somewhere within the $70 or $60 ballpark. There are shoes at that price that perform way better than some of these expensive shoes.
Yeah.
And like I can name like 5 or 6 shoes that perform better than like those self-lacing shoes. That's not to say that the shoe's bad. It's just there are shoes that are cheaper that are just way better.
Yeah.
I also love hooping in Hardens. I also like playing in Curry's because
Are they pretty solid?
Yeah, they give me like really good stability when I plant my feet and go out for a jump shot. So like that's one thing I really like. And also like they're just super mainstream, very minimal.
Yeah.
I love hooping in Curry's, and I think that's it for the most part. I hoop in LeBron's every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's pretty solid. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
What do you wear to the gym?
To the gym,
Clothes?
I do. I wear, like, I don't even know what they're called, like those black Nikes, all blacks.
Yeah, those are solid. I like those.
I need to get a pair of running shoes, though, that are actually, like, if we do end up doing basketball, which we definitely should, because they have no support. So if I start running, I'm going to break my ankle. But yeah.
Do you have any basketball shoes or no?
No. I'm just going to get gym shoes.
What size are you?
A 17 men's.
I was going to say, wait,
no, I'm
what?
an 11.
Oh, you're size 11? If we do Korek, like, honestly, I have like 2 pairs that are size 11 that, like, you can use.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
He rents it to you for like $200.
$200.
$200.
But if we
It
win,
doesn't
no
matter.
price.
Yeah, oh yeah. Really.
Yeah, I definitely have shoes that you can definitely wear.
So what is, I'm curious because I've only been on like 2 intramural teams. What's the key to winning intramural games? How do you craft a team? How do you go about that? You're like, I need a shooter, I need a guy in the post, or do you say, I just want to be with the guys I like playing with?
I think the hardest part is finding a balance between those 3 categories.
Yeah.
Because you definitely need size, especially in the competitive leagues. But you also need guys who can space out the floor, who can shoot the ball, and guys who can attack the rim. And also, more importantly, like, chemistry. So obviously, like, playing with your friends help, but, like, sometimes your friends may not be, most
trash.
athletically
They
gifted.
suck.
They may not be good, but it has to be a balance between those 3, I think. And it's super hard because, like, there are some really, really good teams. Even in rec, there are some pretty solid teams that come out because they want the free mug. But I'd say it's more about, having the chemistry while having, like, the right personnel, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. We'll definitely try to, for those listening, we're trying to get an intramural team going, trying to win a championship out here,
Yeah.
Tough conditions and...
I'm honestly down to make one. I'm trash at basketball, so I'll just be the coach, and I'll just draw fake plays and confuse the team like I did last year.
You were there, right, for that game when he dressed up in his suit like he
Yeah.
was Ty Lue looking at it?
I was Ty Lue get fired. The players control the game, which they actually did. So
Just yelling random words.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick.
yeah, ice the puck. This isn't hockey, sir. This is basketball.
Remember the guy checking us in was just laughing. He's like he's our coach, and he had like a score.
Yeah, it was hot too. It was like 90 degrees in the gym, and I'm wearing a full suit. The guy's like, I assume you're not playing. I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing.
Are you, did you make the calls for substitutions?
I did, and then I did a horrible job at it. So then
Watch Sam get out of here. Jacob, get in there. That's the right move, coach.
Down 2. We're gonna bench watch.
All right,
Put
top
Jacob
scorers
in.
get out. We're actually down by 5. Jacob, you can get the hell in there.
Are you sure, coach?
Are you sure about this? I really don't feel comfortable.
Brings in like the Airbud dog. What's going on?
I forgot about that show. Yeah, no. So I only went to 2 games. I still got a shirt, so that's kind of sick. But 'cause you guys won.
Sug, your face is like, that's ridiculous, man. This guy goes to 1 game.
I went to 2 games. I got a shirt. I didn't get a mug though. Obviously, that kind of doesn't make any sense. But Minnow was on the team too.
I think he played one game.
I think he's dressed.
We should get Minnow. I mean, he's the kind of player who, my best comparison is kind of like LeBron meets a kind of DeAndre Jordan. It's kind of my mix for Minnow.
I don't think I've ever seen him play, so I can't speak to that. Anyways, we'll take a quick music break. We'll come back, wrap up the show with Sungho, and basically say what the next moves are for First Stop, because we're actually booked for the next 7 weeks. This podcast is coming alive, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned. Keep it locked and rocking here at the WZDC. Great song, but one of my favorite bands, the Vans. They're from Australia. They're actually going to be coming to Boston next year. I DM'd them on Instagram, and I said, hey, you coming to Boston? They're like, yeah, I'll be there next year, so I'll definitely be going to that concert. Anyways, we wanted to thank Sungho once again for coming on. Appreciate him being on the podcast. Definitely going to have him on again sometime later this year.
Wrap it up. There you go.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been great.
Yeah. We're definitely, as Erik said before the break, we're booked for the next, 7, maybe 8 weeks now. But we're going to definitely get you on again.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been fun.
No, it's been real fun. Yeah. We'll definitely get like a reunion too by the end of this semester and by the end of this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Calendar year. That'll be good.
It's been great.
So
it's a great experience.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, follow us on Instagram, First Stop Official. That's our main form of communication. We'll be posting this bit to SoundCloud either today or tomorrow, and then definitely to iTunes. That takes a little bit longer to upload. Mm-hmm. Jacob has news, possibly Spotify.
Maybe Spotify. We'll look into it. It'll be tricky, but I think I can get around it.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Keep it vague.
Keep it vague, yep. So we'll be doing that. We have no more website, so don't go on firststopofficial.com. No more website. But we do have Instagram. That's kind of our main form of communication. Follow my personal Instagram, GrossE1443, I think is my username. I need to remember what my username is. Yeah, Erik Gross1443 is my username, Erik Gross1443.
Yep. You can give me a follow on Instagram, Jacob Capozzi, and then also give me a follow on TikTok, JCapose33.
Yeah, you guys got to give Jacob a follow on TikTok. This guy's actually hilarious about how many bits now? You have 30? 30 like small little clips?
I have 50 posts.
50 small little posts. They're absolutely like hysterical. Once he blows up, he's going to blow up like huge.
Yep.
Like internally combust huge.
Jesus.
It's massive. You got to follow him. JCapose33.
Sungho, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so...
anything coming up for you?
Instagram, Sungho3Cam.
Awesome.
That's easy.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
We will see
you
at the next stop.